So to introduce the poddy, today we're trying a three-man thing with a very special guest, our long-time friend, Mr. Jacob Banks. There'll be links aplenty below when the thing pops off.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the topic I was thinking about for yourself was bullying.
Okay.
Because I find it like a whirlwind topic from a million different avenues. And I thought, like, have you ever been a victim or contributed to bullying of any shape or form?
The man in me wants to be like, no, man's never. I don't know. I think so. I think people have definitely tried.
To bully you?
Yeah. I think there's been attempts, but I'm cracked, so it's never really pans out well. I've definitely been a bully. There's one specific time in my life I remember vividly. Haunts me even, I'd say. I bullied one dude and I hated it. I was so sorry. Still am. His name's Reese. If you listen, Reese, I apologize, man.
Well done, man. What happened?
I just got caught up in stuff, man. I was just being dumb. It was back in school, we had PE, which brings out the worst in everyone, frankly.
Competition.
Yeah, so he was getting, everyone was just like throwing balls at him, just being annoying little kids. And then I got a bit I got gassed. You know, remember when in school gyms you had that little rod to open up the window if it was hot? I drew for that. I drew for one of those.
Yeah.
And I just was poking him with it. And he started to cry. And as soon as I saw him cry, I made everyone stop. I was like, yo, we can't do this. This is terrible. Like, yo. And then he kind of saw that moment as a chance to, like, prove himself. Then he swung for me. And then, and then I had to slump him. But it was a terrible time, and I felt so bad for it. I apologized for weeks. But yeah, I think sometimes it's people bully because it's easier to be part of something. Segregation drives human beings weird. It's like you want to belong to one side of the table. So it's either the bullies or people who are being bullied. So if everyone's bullying, it's easier to just be like, oh, I'm going to be one of those people or not. And I think in that moment I chose to be one of those people. And that's probably the only time in my life I've ever done that. And it was terrible.
What about you, fam? I know you've done it.
You know I've bullied.
Yeah, 100.
I can't think of a specific time where I feel like I've bullied someone. I don't. Why
Your
would
laugh alone.
Huh?
If someone bullied around you, the way you laugh would make me cry. Like even if you did nothing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The way you laugh at stuff is terrible.
I know, but I see humor in everything. Obviously, sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's just a thing. I just see humor in everything. Like the same way comedians make jokes about rape and shit. I just see humor.
Yeah.
Obviously, the topic, like we said, discussed before, the topic of rape itself isn't nice.
Yeah.
It's not nice to talk about, but the joke and the context it's in is different.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily feel like I've bullied anyone. Or if I have, or if I don't feel like I have, but people assume I have, then obviously then that's two different arguments. But I don't think I've ever put myself in that situation. That's my view anyway. I don't feel like I have.
Have you been bullied?
Have I been bullied? Nothing stands out. I want to say yes though, because I feel like there have been times in my life where naturally just general selection you get picked on. Do you know what I mean? General selection, and especially growing up phase, more like around that year 8, year 9 stage, where you're trying, like you say, you're trying to find your crowd.
Yeah.
Either you're the bullies or you're the bullier, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like because I wasn't a very much confident, well-spoken, that kind of person that's always chatting to people like I am now because of my career, I felt like I got put in that group of, he's easy, so you just might as well attempts to bully. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's the way people portray it, people might just assume you're an easy target, and that if one person assumes it, everyone assumes it. So I feel like I was associated with that by default.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What about yourself?
I've been on both sides of it, man. So, I've done bullying twice in my life. One time was when I moved out of Luton to North, and I was brand new, and there was like a unpopular child in the class. This is like year 7, year 8, a guy called Lee, and everyone was picking on him, man. And it was in art class, I remember, and everyone would roll up to him and be like, Lee, do you think you could beat me up? And they'd be like, nah. And they'd be like, Lee, do you think you could beat me up? I'm like, nah. And then come to me. And they're like, James, ask him. I'm like, I don't want to fucking ask him, man. And they're like, ask him. I was like, I don't want to ask him. And like, I don't want to be part of this. Yeah. And then they were like, fucking ask him. And then I was like, all right, man, Lee, do you think you could beat me up? Man said, yes. I was like, oh, fuck. And then we had a fight after school. That's how bad it got. The peer pressure was so deep. We had to scrap after school. And it was one of the worst things that I've ever experienced, because not only did I crumble to like the peer pressure of it, I put someone in physical danger because I was too much of a pussy and didn't want to be disliked in like my first week of a new school. So yeah, we scrapped. And I'm not gonna lie, he banged me. But then what made it worse is that as soon as I rocked him, he dropped, and like 6 of my boys just ran in and started kicking him and shit. And I was like, nah, man, this is not the one.
Bro, the need to be accepted is crazy. Like, when you think about, so much of life is that. So much of life fundamentally is about, I want to feel seen. And it drives race, gender, like equality. It's everyone needs to belong to a group, and we almost don't care what the ramifications are of that group. It's just, I just need to be on one side. The idea of standing alone is so daunting to people that we make such terrible decisions off the back of it. It's like, and we choose based on what's available to us. So, for example, is human connection is, we will keep finding stuff to separate ourselves at every turn. So, for example, is like, you know, if I'm black, Nigerian, and many other things, but I choose which adjective I use depending on who's in a room.
Yeah.
So if I'm around a bunch of white people, I am black. If I'm around a bunch of black people, I'm African. If I'm a bunch of African people, I am Nigerian. If I'm a lot of Nigerian people, I'm Yoruba. And then I might go for my religion. Yeah. I might go for my height.
So it's like a filtered situation.
Yeah, it's like, we'll do anything to be like, oh, like, where are you from? I'm here. You're there. And it's just like, we don't care what comes with that group. It's just like, the need to separate is so drastic. Like, we're always looking for something to separate us from them. Yeah. And it's weird, because at the very minimum, we're just all human. At the very
base level, foundation.
But we're always trying to like, no, you do that, I do this, and it's just weird, man. Yeah.
The other time where this one is nice. Not nice, it was horrible, but it's the time when I was bullied. This is a completely different subsector in terms of like not fitting in. So I used to have, obviously, my group of friends. I lived on one side of town. Most of my friends lived on the other side of town. I had one boy called Rob who would walk home with me because he lived near where I live. And like, he was someone who got not picked on, like he was in like the popular crowd. But in terms of what you're saying, he was the only African. All of us were black or mixed race, but he was the only African. So again, something to just throw little ticks at.
Yeah.
And I think he had a hard time at home as well. So when we used to walk home, out of nowhere, everything was blessed. Out of nowhere, one time, he just like tripped me up. And I was like, all right, leave it. Didn't do nothing. And then a few weeks later, man started like pushing me, punching me a little bit, playful. And I'm like, what's with this guy? And then he used to, you know, those switch sticks, those bendy green sticks
Yeah.
they get off the tree.
Oh, yeah.
And one day picked one off the tree and started whipping the shit out of me. And one was like, do something back. And I was like, bro, you're my boy. Like, why are you doing this? But he would never do it at school in front of the other man. He would only do it on our way home. And I never wanted the confrontation to escalate to a point where we're having a scrap.
Yeah.
Because for one, I'm just not really a confrontational guy, even in extreme situations sometimes. And for two, there was just me and him. Like, fighting someone all out when there's literally two people there.
Someone would die.
Fam, when does it end? So, yeah, he just continued until one time, my brother was with my little brother, and he was still in primary school, and he started it. My brother was crying his eyes out. Like, leave my brother alone, why are you doing this? etc. So that's when obviously I had to back it, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And then he got smacked, and you just had to leave it for him. But
Sometimes you need that though. Like, I feel like that's natural selection. So like, peace and love and all that. Sometimes you gotta smack people up. Sometimes it's the only thing that registers for some people, and like I've had friends growing up where we just had to rumble.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I still, as much as I believe in like human beings growing morally, but I still believe there's still a natural selection. Like, I still believe at our very core, we're still animals. There's still alpha and betas. Sometimes we need to see who's who.
Who's who? But do you not feel like, with the Rob situation, do you not feel like he took his advantage of picking on you because you walked home together, kind of thing, because he got bullied by your group
Everyone
of friends?
else, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, he's trying to feel.
that was his
Yeah.
relief.
that was his outlet.
Or really,
I was his
release
outlet.
rather, yeah.
I was his punch bag.
Yeah.
He was so vexed about the situation, and I was just a frail ambassador for the gang.
Yeah.
And because I was, this again was so, I was so new.
Yeah.
He just thought, bro, this is an easy opportunity.
Yeah. Everyone needs to feel like an alpha somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
See, a bunch of men do that to their missus. You're at work getting moved to by Tim. Tim's cussing you out, and you get home, you're hyping to your missus, you waste man. When Tim was cussing you out, you didn't say nothing. You was laughing. And then you're at home acting up. Like, people like take out their frustration on people who didn't hurt them, and it's weird. And it's just, bro, there's so much, bro. Our generation, bro, we need therapy, cuz like, so much to unpack at all times. A bunch of people, it's just, everyone needs to feel like the king somewhere, and that often means that someone has to be on the receiving end of that, and it's just peak. But it's just life, man. You just have to smack them up.
Well, that's what ended it. That's
Yeah.
what shut it down. He just got one smack, and I was dreading the comeback.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I can't have my little brother crying. I can't. Like, I can't bang, because it will change. Not only will it will change so much for him at that age. Whereas, like, it's not only going to change how he sees his older brother.
Yeah.
It's going to change what he sees friendships as.
Yeah.
He's going to change as what he sees violence as.
Yeah.
What's okay, what's not okay. And I was just like, nah, that I can't bang. I cannot bang. But yeah, man, I just thought that was a kind of interesting topic to pick up, just because, yeah, like, humans being human do human shit. And sometimes, as bewildering as it is, and also I thought I'd bring it up because I had a feeling that either one of you would admit to saying I've been the bully. And probably in that time, you didn't realize you were being it. And I brought it up because I watched a powerful video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a powerful video the other week. One high school, it might be middle school or something in America, one gay kid was getting bullied. One guy could call him a faggot. He's like, faggot. And then the gay guy, obviously, the bully was on his ones. It was in the whole class, but no one was backing the bully. No one. It was all silence. My man said, call me faggot again. And he's like, bro, you're a faggot. He peeled back and smacked the shit out this kid. And the guy just had to stand there and shake. Well,
Well, when bullies get circled, it's the funniest thing.
Bruv.
Because there's so much of being a bully or so much of being who you are is hell bent on the fact that you don't believe nothing will happen. I love seeing it. I live for that drama.
That retribution.
Yeah. I live for it because now you have to fight. Now it's happened now. And that, bro, when people who've been bullied get strength, but they get the strength of 1,000 slaves.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's like they can't lose. Like I say this all the time. It's like, as a black person, if you racially abuse me and I fight you, I can't lose.
Yeah.
It's never happened. No one's ever been racially abused and lost a fight. Because the strength of my forefathers is here. Like, I can't lose this fight.
Yeah, man.
The same way, if you bully someone and they fight back, they're winning. They're winning. They have to. They like, because you're rattled. You're rattled anyway because you didn't believe this was going to happen. Now you're here. And that person's had enough from everyone in their lives being bullies. And they're just gonna slump you, man. And it's just, and now you have to come back to school like a waste.
I feel like bullying is such a weird cycle, because I feel like bullies only bully because they can't take out their actual frustration or their personal issues onto something else, so they do it onto someone else. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So bullying. I feel like the reason why people bully, especially in like school and stuff, is because they got personal problems at home.
Yeah.
And because they can't address it with their parents.
Yeah, you come to school.
Or whatever, you just come to school
big
and
bad.
act like you are like, you know, big, like you said, big and bad, you are the bee's knees and whatever. Which is a mad circle.
That happened at uni. There was bare man, when we were at uni, this bare man that came down from London, he used to get sent to the shops. In London. But in Coventry, big and bad. Big gangster, done something, Cully owned something.
Yeah.
But like, when I asked man in London, they took your bike. They took your bike and you said nothing.
You got your 5A to C's like everyone else,
Yeah,
bruv.
but in CV1, Far Gosford, you're gassed.
Yeah, you
Like,
rebrand yourself, especially
Yeah.
when you move out of that territory. You have to rebrand yourself,
Yeah.
especially if you want to feel like you said, like the alpha. No one wants to be the beta in life.
Yeah.
No one does. So you have to rebrand yourself, and you have to kind of push for the top and push for whatever happens kind of thing, as long as you get there. So we're back. James had to step out, so it's just myself and Jay.
But, how you been single for a while now, ain't you?
Yeah, so I've been single since about 2017. Almost 2020 now. Yeah.
In that time, how has your view of relationships changed?
Fucking drastically, bro. Drastically, because I feel like I was saying this to Bella, or I was saying this to someone recently, and that once you actually start a thing with someone, whoever it may be, let's say I'm seeing a girl, I've met this girl, I like her, we go out on 1 or 2 dates, we drink, we have a good time, I see her multiple times, we have sex or whatever. As long as I've asked myself that question, do I see her being my potential person, or do I see her as a better mate than my previous ex? If the answer is no, in my head, then it's done. Regardless of whether I end it then or I end it in a month's time, I know for a fact the way I feel about it is going to change.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like everyone from my ex up until whenever have been fillers. Does that make sense to you?
That's peak, but if they're listening to this.
No, but do you know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
It's not.
You're
it's not
being honest.
It's not necessarily an insult to them.
Yeah.
It's just the way I view my personal happiness and my life. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's about me.
Yeah.
And whatever they feel is about them as well. I might be their kind of tea, that like their kind of guy. They're gassed about me, blah blah blah. Yeah. I might like them as well, but if I'm not 100% compatible with them and 100% like not in that mind frame where I can see myself with you long term.
Yeah.
Like this could be a good 2 months thing, but long story short, if I'm not 100% feeling it, I will know it's gonna end, and it will just resonate to me that you've just been a filler in my life.
Do you know what your love languages are?
Bella was talking to me about them before. I don't actually deep that much in stuff like that, but she talks to me about that all the time. I can't remember what she told me, like love path, this and that, but I can't remember.
So I think that there are 5. I think if anyone's listening, it's worth knowing. Just it kind of matters, and it also kind of doesn't. I tell you. So there's 5. So there's acts of service, which is also love languages are about what you give and what you like to receive. They're
Oh yeah. So I know, but I do know about this. Yeah.
Acts of service is kind of like you just a problem solver. If anything breaks, anything needs, if anyone needs your help, you're there quickly. You don't like you feel fulfilled by being able to lend help to your loved ones. Gifts like material stuff.
It
like
speaks for itself. Yeah.
Quality time speaks for itself. Physical touch is another one, and I think there's one, words of affirmation.
Yeah, I was gonna say like vocals and stuff.
Words of affirmation. And what I've always struggled with is like I'm acts of service and quality time. That's what I like to give, and that's also I like to receive quality time. I'm kind of very self-sufficient. I don't really need anything apart from just peace of mind.
Yeah.
So, and typically because of social system, unfortunately for women, most of them are words of affirmation, because we've subdued women's emotions for so long that they feel the need to have to be validated all the time. And but simultaneously we've raised men to be void of that and just be toxic in how much of a man they need to be. So it's always a conflict of interest. So like I've always kind of ended up with women who needed words of affirmation and physical touch, and it's just like that's not man. Man don't know where to begin with that. Like if you do something nice, I'll tell you. But like I think being a musician, people even think you're just gonna shower them.
Naturally be that
like
way.
It's not that, and learning that being compatible is way more important than having love. Like love makes everything easier. But really finding your person where you guys are, like if you have the same love languages, it makes your life easier. But it does. But then obviously there's still other stuff like communication and trust, and there's more of some relationships are a dead thing, man.
The thing is,
it's so whack.
I agree and disagree with that statement. I do disagree purely because they are stressful, but they're task. Everything in life is task.
No, dead thing's probably too much. Like it's dope, but it's just I don't think, bro. Like, say, well, I'm 28. You're 28 as well. So let's say you meet someone tomorrow. They've lived, say for argument's sake, they're also 28. 28 years without your consent. Without you've gone up on a different set of advice. Different set of traumas. And then somehow you're both meant to understand each other. 28 years of person loved and being unloved and loving again and learning how to communicate a certain way with one person and work and friendship. Like you don't know what experiences that person has had. And you both meet and like, well, I like you too. All right, go. But the odds are so stacked against you. That's a whole fucking human being. It's an entire person who thinks a certain way, who responds a certain way, who problem solves a certain way, and we have to find common ground somewhere.
But that's the reason why I said to you that I think that's what boils down to the fact that everyone in between in my life has been a filler. Do you know what I mean? Up until you find that person, because no one in life wants to settle, and that's a fact. Everyone wants to feel like they've reached the highest point. They've reached that goal that they want. They've reached that marker. Do you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I feel like everyone else, and it's not an offensive thing. It's not me being offensive.
It's just your truth.
It's just my truth. Do you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people or females especially might think, oh, it's a bit rude, but there's no other way for me to put it without sounding rude. So I feel like a filler is the best way to describe the situation. So for you to say like, oh yeah, go, 28 years, you've lived apart, blah, 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 and then go. But if you have that common ground, you're more than happy to. Do you know what I mean?
But it's just very slim.
Of course it is.
Like I can't remember. I think it was Aziz Ansari that was once saying like if you ask everyone's parents where they met, most people, it's just similar neighborhood or on a street or in the same city or whatever. So a lot of people, like up to about 60 years ago, dated people. I think that the stats were dumb. It was like, I think like 90% of relationships started within like a 5-mile radius. So the chances are you did grow up on the same sort of advice. There was no internet. You didn't get any insight into anybody else's lives.
Yeah.
So if you're like, if you guys yell at each other, you guys don't take it as offense because that's how you've seen your families communicate.
Yeah.
Where for me, for example, I was born in Nigeria. Throughout my whole family, my mum and dad's been married for, I think, 29 years and been together for like 35. My mum and dad have 4 kids. We've never seen my mum and dad argue.
Yeah.
We've never seen anyone raise voice.
Yeah.
So I live in the West now, where people are a lot more vocal about how they feel, and people have more of an emotional response to stuff, where people sometimes yell at each other. If I'm in a relationship and a girl yells at me, boy, it rattles me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fathom how...
We've gotten to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how are you talking to man like this?
Yeah.
Like, it just... I zone out. Like,
Yeah.
I have to leave the room because I can't get to that level with anyone I truly care about.
Yeah.
Where I'm yelling over you to get my point across.
Yeah.
If
You should never get to that stage.
Yeah, and it's just me. But for her, it's like, this is how we communicate, and I'll make you breakfast tomorrow, and life's blessed. For me, it's, you can't chat to me for days. Like, you can't yell at me, call me a fucking waste man, and then be like, I love you. You don't.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you don't love me.
Yeah.
I don't care. But you can say what you want. No, I love you. I was just in my I'm going home. What do you mean? Like, I can't process it, and that's what's happening as well as is we're meeting people. Like, you meet a girl in Manchester, but she came here from, I don't know, the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
So she's grown up on a whole
different
set of vibes, and you've come from a Nigerian background, or people are like cross-pollinating cities, and your housemate Bella's Brazilian.
Yeah.
And it's like, that never used to happen 60 years ago.
Of
So
course.
it's just so many things having to work.
Yeah.
Like,
But then if this boils down to what me and Jimmy spoke about in like previous episodes about tradition and Western civilization. Obviously, back then, there was like you said, there was no internet.
Yeah.
There was no social media. There was none of that. So you
No
had to
insight.
meet on that raw,
Yeah, yeah.
face-to-face,
Yeah.
interact. So it made sense that stat makes sense. That
Yeah.
everyone that was in relationships 60 years ago were within the 5-mile radius because they're in the same community.
Yeah.
Whereas now, because we've got that insight of Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff, we have the opportunity to expand our horizon.
Yeah.
But our parents' generation wouldn't understand the way we are branching out because all they know is their upbringings and their Eastern civilization knowledge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's also harder to, especially convince. Obviously, you know too well because you're Nigerian as well. It's also harder to convince a Nigerian parent that you're trying to branch out in terms of whether it be relationships, whether it be living with a female, whether it be anything that's not culturally normal to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's tough. But you got, we were saying earlier, like, I can't, like, that them type of stuff is, it used to bother me so much, especially as a musician.
Yeah.
Trying to seek approval from family. And one day I was just kind of like, it's never going to come. Like, not because they don't love me, but it's just, they've just grown up on a different
wavelength. Different wavelength,
They will never be able to come around.
Yeah.
Not because they don't care, it's just they
don't get it.
They can't, it doesn't compute for them now.
Yeah.
Like, my parents grew up in a space where education literally
Was
guarantees success.
Yeah.
Like, you got your degree, like, man, you're getting a job.
Yeah.
We know bear man who has a degree and doing completely different from what, or like, people are finding ways. I think, like, our generation has created so many jobs, so many opportunities. Everyone's self-employed. People are doing what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And explaining that to my family just wouldn't make sense. And I believe the best way to sell someone on an idea is to prove to them that it works. So I just stopped trying to sell them on it. I just went off and did what I had to do.
Yeah.
And you don't see, like, you will see when you see, and we'll communicate on when you do understand you understand success, you understand, he drives a nice car, or, he's got a mortgage.
I was going to ask you this question, especially on this podcast. How did you have to explain to your family that you're no longer chasing education, that you're going to chase music? How did that? Because obviously, I know personally from a Nigerian background, it's hard for a parent to hear that they wouldn't want to be in education anymore. They want to chase a lucrative dream because that's the way parents would see it, especially African parents. That's the way they would see it.
Yeah.
But how did that resonate with you, and how did you like overcome that barrier and with your parents?
Honestly, I don't think I ever did. Or now. To be fair, my mom, she hasn't said anything for like a year.
Yeah.
But even everything, I remember when even when I bought my mum out of a mortgage.
Yeah.
She was still like, okay, so when are you going to do your master's?
Yeah.
It's still like,
There's still that hint.
it's still like, and then I bought a second home, and then I retired my dad as well, retired my mum, and I think after that, it stopped. But I don't know if it's truly stopped yet. Like, if shit was to hit the fan tomorrow, they'll pitch it right back. They'll be like, yeah. Why? So you have all this time on your hand.
Yeah.
You should go back and do your master's or do your degree. But I think for me, it's just never been in my personality to ask for permission.
Okay.
That's a whole... ask for consent.
Consent.
Permission. I think, when Kunle passed, Kunle is a friend of ours from when we were at uni. I think that was really what set me off.
Yeah.
You remember Kunle?
Yeah, of course.
An exceptional human being. When he passed, it was kind of like, I remember my logic was, if Kunle could pass at 21, being the exceptional human being he was, me being a very mediocre man, I have no chance.
Yeah.
So while I'm here, I just can't stop. I can't stop asking for permission.
Yeah.
I have to go do this thing. I have to just go see what the world has to offer for me. This is the one thing I've done that I genuinely feel joy in, and like I was obsessed with music too growing up.
Yeah.
And I just stopped asking. I think that's the only, I just didn't ask. Like, my parents would say whatever they wanted to say.
Yeah.
And told a couple lies here and there, Like, it's probably the worst place to say this. But like, I remember when I told my family that I was doing a year's placement in London. So when I moved to London,
I remember when you moved to London.
I told them I was doing a year's placement. I was working at a company called Muse.
Yeah.
Lied. I was living on someone's couch.
Yeah.
Doing gigs with my guitar.
Yeah.
And I gave myself a time frame. I was like, between, I said like, the placement's done on like the 30th of July.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, if I don't make a name for myself in that time, I'll call it a day.
Yeah.
And I think I signed my first record deal on like the 25th of July.
Oh, wow.
But the reality is, it sounds like a great story. The reality is, if it didn't happen, I probably would have kept going.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice to give myself that goal to work towards, but I was going to push through regardless. I think the passing of Kone was always what drove me. It's just like, you might as well try, man.
Yeah.
You might as well. Yeah.
I hear that, man. That is tough, because it's crazy that something so moving in your life made you want to chase something even more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something that you decided to do. It wasn't to be like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it because I want to do it. It was something that moved you so much that made you want to.
But the reason I didn't do it is representation, which is a whole massive issue that I talk about with the boys a lot, is like the type of music I wanted to make. I didn't see anybody that looked like me make that type of music, so it always felt impossible.
Yeah.
So like, everything that you are in life is because you've seen someone that you relate to do that exact same thing, and in the back of your mind you understand, okay, boom, being that version of you is an option.
Yeah.
But if you don't see anything,
no representation,
you feel like you're going out on a limb, because it's like there's no safety blanket. You don't know that this is possible. I think so. But I remember Connor used to tell me all the time, like, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it. And I was just kind of like, no. Man's a big man.
Man don't sing.
You know what I mean? Man don't sing.
Man don't sing out here.
Yeah, but then after, I remember, I think the first proper show I had was at his funeral.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird to even call it a show. But
Yeah.
like his family was like, oh, he would love for you to do it. And I think the first time I really got up on a stage, where it wasn't just like gimmicky, like, you know, me and my guitar was at his funeral, and I just never stopped. I think one day I just left Cov, moved to London. I didn't go back to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And I've stayed in London for like 7 years. Like, honestly, when I think back, I don't know who I thought I was.
Yeah.
Like, I find it so bizarre that I had balls that big, because
Yeah.
I probably don't even have that anymore.
Yeah.
I think the older you get, you kind of naturally become safer. Because,
Yeah, you succumb to life.
You know, like I look after all my siblings and my mum and dad. So it's like I never want to jeopardize that safety blanket that I've created. But back then, it was wayward. And I drove past the apartment, my first apartment when I lived in London. It was like on top of this little,
I remember
24-hour cleaning.
that Sainsbury's is on top of that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I was thinking, raw. Like, I often play this game in my mind where if I go past something, I'm a very nostalgic person in general. If I see something from my past, I try to remember what my mindset was. Like, did I ever envision this version of myself?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when I think back to
yeah.
us living at uni,
Yeah.
and I see every man, like, who we are today was never even an option. And it's weird to think that, because your current version of yourself your version today is the smartest version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that version of you knows shit. But it is the most knowledgeable, the most version of you that's collected the most information.
Yeah.
But that version of you knows nothing.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Like, 5 years from now, I wonder what we're going to think when we look back at all of this.
Yeah.
I hope we're going to be proud and whatever. But the reality is, man don't know nothing. Like, we're just out here.
Yeah. That's true.
Just out here, no common sense. Like, we know what we're told, and we try to make a better life, but we don't know shit. And I find that thought really daunting and scary in a way, because, you know, you're thinking about like what the rest of your life looks like. And then you're going to meet your kid for the first time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Man's going to be old, boss.
Nearly 30.
Being old looks dead.
Yeah.
Bro, I was in Canada.
Yeah.
And there was this old bro. Old. Like, he was trying to get down from a pavement.
Oh,
Trembling.
Jesus.
Like, shaking. He
That's
couldn't.
old.
And I saw him and I ran over and I helped him down and I
Yeah.
walked him to his car. Like, he literally had to walk about 5 steps.
Yeah.
And he was petrified of, like, he couldn't reach. He was trying to put his hand on a car.
Yeah.
To get down from a pavement.
How's man driving?
No, his missus drove. His missus pulled a car, so he couldn't even walk to the car. So she drove the car around, and she had the door open and everything. Like, just and man was shaking.
Jesus.
That's boring. Like, that's so boring.
Yeah.
But you can't walk to the car,
Yeah. You gotta live life to the fullest, clearly.
bro. Yeah, but I just read something that says you're gonna live about 60% of your life with a bad back.
Yeah.
That's dead.
That is wild.
That is whack.
Fuck.
Most of your life, your back will hurt.
Fuck.
That's dead.
Yeah, that is dead.
I'm so upset about it. Like, I don't, like, right now, I have bad knees as well. My knees are already like you start hearing it when you get older. You start hearing that you're making these grunts for no reason.
Yeah.
I pick up the remote control. I have to grunt. Like, I hate. It's just like, nah, man. Jacob used to be agile. I used to be out in these streets. Now,
Man used to break dance.
yeah. I used to be a dancer.
Now, if you tried any of them
bro,
things
I'm
now.
tired. When I'm on stage now, like when I watch people, sometimes I feel to myself, I could do that.
You can still do
so I try. I do like a little hop and a skip back
Yeah.
and forth. Tired.
Yeah.
Tired. If I like when I'm on stage, I always give a grandiose performance, but I'm not running. I'm not running. I'm not dancing. Because I'm tired. Cause like, it's just I hate seeing it happen, man. And like, mother time is killing me. It's a mother
Random-
type. It's father.
random
It's definitely
question.
Father type.
Random question about like your music career and stuff.
Yeah.
Where is I don't want to say where's the best place you've ever performed, because I'm sure there's so many that come to mind. But what's one of the most memorable places you performed at?
I say the most memorable one I performed at is Moscow,
Why?
because it's fucking Moscow.
You never thought people would.
I just never. It was never on the cards for me.
Yeah.
And given the racial tension, and I was just caught off guard.
Yeah.
Like, show sold out hella quick, and they knew every single word.
Really?
Which always kind of happens, but it's just I never thought
Yeah.
the source would get here. And seeing these people saying how much they cared, and just thinking from my point of view, it's like there were times where I almost didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm here, like my craft is taking me here. But I would never go to Moscow. I'd never go
On a
to-
whim, on a
I'd never
normal
go
day
to
to day.
Quebec in
Yeah.
Canada. Like
Yeah.
seeing the things I get to experience purely because of my hobby always blows my mind, that I can't believe I get to do this for a living. I can't believe I'm so lucky that I get to see these places and meet these people.
Yeah.
And coming all the way to Moscow was just special. I just never thought that would be an option for me.
That's Moscow.
Yeah, it's not like I think it was like 800 cap room. When
Yeah.
we're getting back, we're playing like a bigger room,
But still, Moscow.
yeah,
of
but
all
it's just
places.
like, bro, it's just insane.
Yeah.
And so much love. I also understand that the love I get is privileged. It's not what the average experience would be for a black man. Or might be, I don't know. But I'm not like, don't be in a haste to go, be a tourist in Moscow, do your research. But for me, obviously I'm invited. I'm living a very privileged life.
Yeah.
In this, like, it's a long time since I've been in a room that I haven't been invited to. So I
Yeah.
never really have to, my guard's always down, because
Yeah.
I'm around. Like, for you to meet me at this point in my life you'd have had to go through my manager, my tour manager, my manager's day-to-day guy.
Yeah.
So by the time you meet me, you've gone through people that I love and respect so much that you have to be a decent human being. So my guard's always down.
Yeah.
So I can't vouch for my experience as being the average experience.
Fair enough. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
total sense.
that's a lot of fun. But there's a couple more places I want to do Brazil. I ain't been back to Niger. I've always postponed a show. I haven't had a homecoming show, and I haven't toured anywhere in Africa.
Why is that?
It's just uncharted grounds, and it's just like touring.
Is it because of your niche of music?
No,
Or-
like that. It's definitely there. Like,
Okay.
it's definitely there. I've had many offers to do it.
Okay.
But it's just, I don't want to do a one-off show. I want to do a tour.
In
I can
Africa?
I can come
Okay.
do a show in Lagos or whatever, but it's just, there's also the logistical side. Flying in 7 people to play a show for an hour doesn't always make sense.
Yeah.
I want to do a whole tour. I want to do Lagos. I want to do Accra. I want to do South Africa.
Yeah.
Johannesburg, and Cape Town, and maybe Kenya. But it's just the logistics of these shows haven't been routed before.
Okay.
So it's like, it's just, there's a lot of maths. There's a business side to music that I'm not a fan of, but I have to do every now and again. And it's just not always possible. Like when I tour, I do a route that's been done before.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen someone do it before. So
Yeah.
I call
So
it
the
bus-
logistics are there.
Yeah, bus parks at this hotel, driver sleeps for 10 hours. And so but no one's ever done it. So it's not the one that I know.
Yeah, it's
ever
just
done
unknown
it the way that
territory.
the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
Typically people fly. But yeah, I would definitely, that's probably the last on my list. Everything else I've had the privilege of doing. There's a couple more places.
I was just about to ask, are there places that you've not been to that you'd want to go to? Obviously, you've said the places in Africa. And Brazil, you've said Brazil
I'll go
as well.
anywhere. The way, like, because it's, bro, like, there's no place I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
If anyone says, yeah, boom, there's people here, we're coming.
Yeah.
If it's feasible and possible.
Yeah.
There's nowhere I wouldn't want to go. Apart from the places I've mentioned, anywhere. But I've been to places. I've been to places.
I know you have.
I was in a place called Moncton. in Canada
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. That was random. Like Halifax in Canada was like, I've been to places like deep Switzerland. I love going to Switzerland. It's fun there. There's nowhere that comes to mind apart from South America. I want to do like Mexico. Mexico, Argentina would be nice. Yeah, because I love to travel as well. I love culture. I love seeing people. I love learning about people. People are by far the most magical things. Like even when I travel, like we drove up here like 4 hours, just seeing the fact that I can go somewhere and see people.
Yeah.
It's like you're just out here, just also living your life, feeding your kids, living your dreams. I find it mad that
this is their reality.
Yeah, like you fly like 8 hours and you land it. There's people
there.
Like it's
That's
just
their
like,
reality.
Like they're just out here. You might have just really just living your life.
Yeah.
Like you're just here.
Yeah.
And you go somewhere else. Motherfuckers is there too. Like humans just everywhere, just living their life. And getting to experience that is just always mind blowing to me. And I never can understand why you care. Like most of these songs I made in my bedroom or like a dingy studio in North London somewhere, and it's like, I can't believe you give a shit. Like, why would you? 'Cause I don't. I give a shit on some level, but I can't believe you care.
Yeah, that much.
Yeah.
Just want to listen to it live.
Yeah, and listen to it is fine, but to leave your yard.
Yeah.
You're saying I fuck with you so much.
Yeah.
My evening, you've worked at 9 to 5,
Yeah.
You're tired. But you're saying, you know what, Jacob's here.
Let me go shout him.
Let me grab my girls.
Let me grab my girls.
Yeah.
Let's get a sitter
Couple
in.
mimosas, we're off. And that's such a gift, like your time. Like I say, like time is currency. Money's whatever. You make your money back.
Yeah.
But when you spend time, time is the actual currency, because you won't see this again.
Yeah, you'll never get it back.
And when you gift someone your time, that's the most humbling thing someone could ever do for me. And every time I'm just gobsmacked and I can't believe you might not hear.
That's cool, man. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. You guys are gonna do that soon. You start touring.
Do you know what?
Take the show on the road.
I would love to, because at the end of the day, like, obviously we both know this was all Jimmy's idea.
Yeah.
And he just threw me a backbone. We're like, do you want to do it with me? I was like, yeah, fuck it. But we talk like this anyway, so why not get the camera on?
Just put a mic in the room.
But it blew my mind when you were talking about the guys you know as well from Spotify and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I can't believe people actually subscribe to that. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I know people do, but like it blows my mind, like the finances behind that as well, and how people actually tour and do a podcast. I'm sitting there watching you man talk.
Yeah.
Like, people do tours for that. That blows my mind.
Because human beings are interesting.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what I found the most is that nobody wants to feel alone. Like, when you're driving, you put music on, it's company.
Yeah.
It's like, and you listen to people speak, you feel like you can relate to them. There's something magical about that. Like, oh, these man get it.
Yeah.
Like
that,
it's
that's
so like, like I'm not
it,
like, people will pay anything for that, to not feel like I'm the only person
that feels the same type of way.
Like, because everyone feels like a freak, even like sexually. You know, into some shit, you're like, oh boy, and you hear that, oh shit, I'm into that too. It's like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah,
like everybody wants to feel seen, man. Ultimately. And that's what I like advocate, is see your people, like see the people in your life, make sure they feel seen and heard. Because ultimately, everybody just wants to feel like, oh man, you notice me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I belong somewhere.
Yeah.
And going back to our initial point of like, even why people do negative things, it's like, at least you see me. Have you seen The Joker?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, for him, it was just like, well, at least you see me
now. Yeah, at least you see me now, because before...
Yeah, before you man didn't care. I was walking here. I walked down these steps bare times.
You didn't see me. Now that I'm stabbing man up,
now I'm joking man up. Now you'll see me. Cool, let's run this.
Let's do this.
I'm gonna dance down these stairs now. Like, but that's all it is, bro.
That's it's a good context to put in, because that's actually crazy.
Yeah.
It does just boil back full circle into the bullying conversation we had at the beginning. It's actually crazy.
I was listening to a lady speak who's a comedian. She was even saying that. She was like, the reason she's a comedian was because she was just like, she wanted her parents to notice her.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like, it's Whitney Cummings. She was saying like, oh, like, you know, like even that, it's like most of the things that we become is still us seeking approval.
Yeah.
From loved ones, just to be seen. Like,
Yeah.
if I get this car, maybe that will happen. Maybe
Yeah,
if I get this, maybe if I dress like this, maybe if I'm wham, like maybe.
Yeah.
Like we're driven by so much of. That's what I'm about. See your people, man. Let them know they're seen and loved, and show up for them. Because yeah, man, everyone. There's better of us. What's it, like 7 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
And most of the people feel alone.
True.
There's better of us. There's literally people can't stop fucking.
Yeah.
And people still feel like the only one on the planet, and that's mad to me. And that's why I do what I do, man. I always say I make music to keep people company. That's my job. And get the Skrilla. And we out, you know? Job done.
Bro. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up? Anything you want to say to the people?
Nah, man, live your best life, man. Be nice. Always be nice and learn about people, learn about their struggles, learn about their oppressions, and you know, so just be a decent human being if you can, and secure the bag.
Nice man. Obviously, James had to part ways earlier on, but
I think he had the shits.
I've been myself Fuhad. Obviously, we've got Jacob Banks in today. All the info will be in the descriptions below, and you know, you can follow.
Congratulations on this, man. It's real special.
Oh, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. You can follow his journey. You can follow our journey. So yeah, man, it's good to have you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Do it again soon. Peace.
Yeah.